You're listening to the Whole Hog Sports Podcast. And now, here's your host, Matt Jones.
Hey, welcome in. We got Bubba Carpenter here in studio with us. We're going to break down what we saw from the Razorbacks down in Arlington over the weekend. First, I want to tell you today's baseball podcast is brought to you by H&R Tire and Auto. They're a third-generation family-owned business serving Northwest Arkansas since 1976. Just like great baseball programs, H&R is built on consistency, trust, and doing things the right way. No shortcuts and no gimmicks. Bubba, Arkansas went 3-1. They lost to TCU Saturday night, beat Oklahoma State on Friday. Texas Tech was the game of the weekend on Sunday, and it didn't have to get as exciting as it did, and we'll get into that here in a minute. And then they beat Tarleton State yesterday 3-1. Just as you watch these games, what stood out to you?
I was impressed. I saw a lot of really good things. I saw some things that you can tell it's early in the season. Thought defense was really good. Think about it. I think we were 2 errors on the weekend, and they were both throwing errors. Defense looked good. Impressed with the outfield play. Ruiz especially made some good routes in the outfield. Base running was good. I thought we were aggressive on the bases. Once again, going back to Ruiz, real aggressive, first to third a couple of times. And I liked the pitching. I thought we threw a lot of strikes. Dietz, I'm optimistic. I'm still 100% in on Dietz. I thought he got squeezed a little bit.
I wanted to ask you about that because Dave Van Horn said that he thought, or I guess, they've got access to the umpire grades, and he said that umpire on Saturday night had an 85 grade.
Yeah.
What's a good grade for an umpire?
85 is bad. I don't know what a good one is, but I know 85 is not good.
Have you ever seen a good grade for an umpire?
No, there's never a good
You're
grade.
waiting for the first.
100%.
Yeah.
No, they're going to make mistakes, but you look at so in the second inning, he struck that guy out on a 2-2 fastball in. Now, he cut it a little bit. Honestly, I think what was happening, I think his fastball had some cut on it where Ryder's catching it's a ball, but where it's crossing it's clipping that strike zone is what I think. And I think the umpire was just getting fooled. Plus, he was set up on this other side, so he's guessing anything on the glove side with Dietz out there. So I think he strikes the guy out on the 2-2 pitch. The next pitch, the guy hits a double, scores 2 more runs. Almost a great catch, by the way, by Ruiz and left. But you look at little things like that. Could have changed everything. So thought he showed good stuff. I saw a few of the guys walking back after swinging at high fastballs, motioning to the on-deck guy ride. They were saying he's got ride on his fastball. So the stuff's there. I think he's going to be fine. But, I love the pitching on Friday. I like the combination of Gackle and Gibbler. I thought they both looked great. Gibbler was really good. Of course, obviously, you watch, Sunday's game. I mean, it was just dominance. Colin Fisher just looked awesome. Fastball, I couldn't tell if he was cut. It's hard to tell on Flow Sports. Looked like he had a couple different breaking balls he was throwing. One was more of a, had a little more downward action. One looked more like a true sweeper. But I don't know. I haven't gotten with DJ Baxendale yet on the pitch shape, so I don't really know. Once again, and the broadcast was hard to tell, but overall, I thought it was a good weekend. I love the way they battled. They chipped away. I thought we were going to win that TCU game. I just knew we were going to win it, just one hit away. I like the way they battled back, though. And then, obviously, the way they, I thought we were going to win that Tech game all along. I just knew something was going to happen, so I thought it was good.
That Tech dugout, they were so. Little quick backstory. On Saturday night after the TCU game, we watched the game from. We get buzzed by 737s flying into DFW. We are that high up in the stadium, and so it took a long time to get down to the field for the interviews after Saturday's game. So on Sunday, it's 4-1. I'm thinking, okay, they got this in the bag. I send my game story off to our editors, to get the quick game story out, and I'm like, I'll let you know if anything happens when I get down to the field. I won't be down to the field to wait. And so the dugout, or the tunnel that I come out, is right next to the Tech dugout. And boy, they were chirping, and they thought they had it in the bag once they went up 5-4 in the 9th inning. I would repeat some of the words that were said when Cam Kozel hit his home run, but they'd probably take us off the air if I did. It was kind of interesting watching that just from that perspective of being right next to Texas Tech's dugout. Because again, they thought they had beaten Arkansas, and we talk about respondability a lot here. Like you saw that from Arkansas in the bottom of the 9th. Do something to keep this game going, and I thought Kozel's a ball player, man. He's a
Yeah.
really good ball player, and it seems like it's not every time, and there's no player that can do this every time, but it seems like a lot of times when they need a big, timely play from him, he'll deliver one.
I'll talk about Kozel in just a second, but I want to revisit what you just said. So you sent the story in before the game was over?
I basically sent in what had happened through 8 innings.
Okay, so there's a broadcaster's jinx. Don't know if you believe it. I get on Phil about it all the time. That's like saying, hey, this guy's got a no-no going in the 7th inning. And then
You got to have a story written when the game ends, though.
Yeah,
I've got so many on this laptop. I have so many stories, like alternate, universe of Razorback baseball. Something happened one. Sometimes it's they've lost a game, and they'll have a comeback in the 9th inning, and they'll walk off. I've got a story somewhere on here that they've won the national championship. That's just kind of how it goes in our business.
Well, I'm superstitious, so we can be killing a team, and I don't let my guys pack up the bats or their bags until the last out's made.
Yeah.
Superstitious. I don't know. It's maybe it's a fault of mine. I don't know. But
Because you never know. I mean, Norm DeBryan, who was it? Somebody was telling me during the series I wrote. I think it might have been Ryan Lundquist told me this. He said Norm was always real big on there is no clock in baseball, and the game's never over until that last out. And I was talking at the College Baseball Hall of Fame last Thursday to Ray Tanner because he was going in as well, the old South Carolina coach. And one of the things that he brought up was the game when they were at Baum, and they're up by 10 in the last inning. It was one of those where they were supposed to play 2 7-inning games on a getaway day, and so they couldn't play the second game because they finished the first game as it was sleeting and it was like 14 degrees outside. It was miserable apparently, or maybe it was 14 wind chill, and South Carolina was up by 10 going into the last inning, and Arkansas scored 11, maybe with no outs or 1 out in the inning. So you just never know what's going to happen in that sport.
So you would have written the story and jinxed us probably, and we would have lost.
I think I might have jinxed South Carolina in that instance.
Yeah. Okay, but back to Cam Kozel. I'm real big on posture, body language, all that. And a situation like that, like you zoom in, and you can see fear on a guy's face. You can see tension. You can see anxiety. He is just as calm and cool as it can be. Even when he got down 0-2, swung at a 0-1 changeup, was way out front. Really surprised they tried to throw a fastball by him. But you look at it, and I mean, the guy is so under control. I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, a phrase in baseball that we talk about, we maybe overuse it. I don't know. The guy speeding up the game. A lot of guys will speed the game up. So they get in a situation like that. All of a sudden, you can see their face get red. Their dry mouth. They're sweating. Man, Kozel just looked like he was just as cool as it could be, and then bam, got that pitch. But yeah, that's good to see, and he's clutch. I mean, he's just a clutch player, and we have this debate a lot. Like Phil and I will talk about it a lot. Is there such thing as a clutch player? And I think absolutely. I think there are. I think some guys are big in that moment, and some guys, get out of control and try to do too much.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
100%. Think about Razorback basketball. Scotty Thurman. He had like 5 or 6 game winners in his career.
yeah.
Not everybody, there are a lot of guys who take hero shots and they're not making them.
Yeah.
Certain guys can, certain guys can't. Think about Brett Eibner. Remember 2009 and 2010, they're down to their last strike of the season at Virginia at the college, or against Virginia at the College World Series. He hits the home run. And a lot of people forget there was an extra inning game out at Tempe in the Super Regional where, again, they're down to their last out. He hits a solo home run and sends it to extra innings. So I think that there is such a thing as that.
Yeah, I think so. I think some guys just have a knack for it. And I think Kozel's one of them. I think, I don't know, I just like watching him. I like his approach at the plate. And I know, we saw some guys swing and miss. Kozel struck out on a slider away. But, you got to give credit to the Franco guy came in, the TCU guy.
He's a good pitcher.
When he needed a good pitch, he dialed it up, and he went to that slider down and away to the lefties, or even the righties. Was able to backdoor it to the righties. But when he needed a good pitch, he dialed it up, and part of that isn't bad hitting. It's just executing a really good pitch at a crucial time.
He may be one of those to watch for the Olerud Award if he plays the way he did this weekend.
Yeah, you know what I didn't like, though? At the end of the game, do you see him doing this to the Razorback fans?
No.
Yeah, he was like very I mean, just
I was on the elevator.
it went
trying to
on
get
and
to the
on. It
field.
wasn't like just it's like it just kept going. I'm like, dude, come on, it's not Game 7 yet. Let's.
It was quite the atmosphere. In
Yeah,
there
I'm
Saturday
sure it
night.
was. I'm sure they're caught up. I think
I was
mad.
TCU. There's that's kind of their home away from home. They play a lot of games there. That stadium opened in 2020. Well, it opened in 2020 during that COVID season and so there was no college baseball in there. They played the first college games in there in 21. I think since then, and TCU may play a game there tonight actually, but since then they've played something like 32, 33 games in that ballpark. I think they even go over there when the weather is bad in Fort Worth. Like they had the cold snap down there 2 or 3
Right.
weeks ago, just like we had here. And I think they go in there and get some work done in the ballpark. They have a very close relationship with the Rangers. And so I think where I'm going with this is they get in there on these nights where there were 22,000 people was the attendance that was listed Saturday. I'd guess probably 14 to 16,000 were Razorback fans. I mean, I'm sitting way up high, and so I've got a real good bird's eye view of everything that's down below. And from what I could tell, there were like about 10 sections in the ballpark that were mostly purple, and everything else was red. And so, I can see where they get a little they get a little frustrated when they go into this ballpark that's supposed to be kind of theirs.
Yeah.
And they're basically playing a road game.
Yeah, I tell you, it was awesome. I saw nothing but red when they showed the stadium.
Yeah.
It was incredible, and they talked about it on the broadcast a lot, the TV broadcasts, just the Razorback fans.
It gets bigger and bigger down there every year. It's like and this year I didn't see what the attendance was Sunday, but Friday it was 18 something. Saturday it was 22 something. Sunday it was the smallest of those three. Then it was real small yesterday with it being Monday. But it seems like it gets, it grows every year, maybe an extra, 500 people a day or something, to where it's not going to surprise me if they get the right matchup in that ballpark that you're going to see maybe an attendance of 25,000 plus one day.
Oh, I think so. I think it's going to grow every year. I know a ton of people that drove down just for Saturday's game.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to be there, wanted to be a part of it. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. I wouldn't be surprised if next year it tops 25.
It reminds me of like when you played and I'm talking about basketball during that era though, when they would go down to Reunion Arena for the Southwest Conference tournament. Mm-hmm. And I've heard people tell stories. If that arena sat 16,500, there were 15 to 16,000 Razorback fans in there. Obviously they're not filling up a 40,000 seat ballpark at Arlington, but it's a similar deal. I mean, you go in there to play Arkansas, and you are playing a road game, so to speak, in a neutral environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. The players have to love it too. Now, I'm sure it can be kind of overwhelming for some of your freshmen,
Mm-hmm.
Playing in front of a crowd like that. I mean, look at these guys coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
They've played in front of 100 people, a couple hundred people. Now, all of a sudden, there's 22,000 people in the fan stands. But I thought they all handled it well. Pretty impressed with the way the freshmen went about their business. So I thought it was good.
It's amazing how strong Razorback baseball has become. I mean, you see it, like we said, this tournament in Arlington, but then you also see it at the College World Series. You see it too when they go on the road and they play Auburn or they play, whoever. When they go on the road and play anybody, you see like a large Razorback contingent, and it's not just parents and girlfriends that are making these trips. There's a lot of people who are, they are Razorback baseball fans. It doesn't mean that they don't like the other sports, but that's what they want to put their money and their time and their travel and their vacation days and everything into, and they make it a point to go get to as many of their games as possible. It's on a much smaller scale of what you see with some of the major league, franchises.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the players, and I know they do, I hope they appreciate what they have now because, last week we talked about Norm DeBryan and kind of the program that he built, and to think where it was, 20 years ago to now, it's crazy to think, 20 years ago there's a shed down the left field line where we're peeing in a cup, or just over 20 years.
What kind of cup?
It happened to be a Longhorn Cup. Yeah. So
That's one of my favorite stories is whenever they open bomb, Norm DeBryan said, I can retire my Texas Cup.
Yeah.
That's been in my bathroom for 20 years.
It's awesome. But you think about it, and then just I don't know. Our fans, I say it all the time. We got the best fans in college baseball. I think Dave said something in an interview. He said we're one of the top. I think he didn't want to go out on a limb, but I think we got the best fans in college baseball. It's crazy how they support the guys, and it's just it's getting bigger every year. We need a bigger stadium. It looks like.
Yeah, they could certainly. I can't make that happen. No, I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I think that there's certainly demand there.
Yeah,
I think the coaches want to see it happen. I think the administration at the university level, they want to see supply and demand remain at a high level. At least a high demand and a supply that's way beneath that demand. Because you do that, you can jack your ticket prices and your donation prices and everything like that up for tickets. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I wish it would. I know a lot of people who can't go that want to go. I know a lot of people who can't go that can't afford to go.
It's amazing. Used to, it wasn't 10 years ago. You could go to, and some of this is with the dynamic ticket prices or the dynamic ticketing model that they've put in place. Used to though, you could go get a ticket. Somebody don't want to use their ticket for an SEC weekend. Hey, you can have it for $10. That's what the ticket cost me, or $15 or whatever it was. Now you want to go to an SEC game, you're going to spend $70, $80 a ticket probably, if not more, because there's the dynamic ticketing. That's how there's no more getting on message boards and exchanging tickets that way. Now everything's done through SeatGeek, and people are not only are they wanting back the cost of the ticket, but they're wanting what that game in their mind has cost them in a donation to get that seat in the first place. It's totally changed, and I think, unfortunately, it's made it to where, you've got a generation of people probably that are, my age, maybe a little bit younger, so in 30s and 40s, who that's kind of how they built the fan base was these people, hey, this is a pretty inexpensive way to get to games. And now you've got younger people who they can't really get into the games because who wants to spend $80 to go watch them, beat up on Missouri in the snow?
Yeah, I guess I wish there was a better way of getting tickets to people that can't always go or can't afford it. Like if you're someone that doesn't need the money, I wish we had an alternative site where you could get on there and say, okay, hey, I got 4 tickets, I got money, I don't need the money. You still see
those people posting on the message boards. It's like, hey, I got 4 tickets.
Oh, good. I don't get.
Let me know if you got kids and you want to go. And
that's awesome.
We'll give them away. But
that's awesome.
It's that subset of people is much lower than it used to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about this year's team. Damian Ruiz, I thought, was really kind of a revelation over the weekend. Remember, we were talking last week, who do you put in the leadoff spot? We were talking about Nolan Souza and Mike Anu, and all of a sudden, here comes Ruiz, and he has this crazy stretch of consecutive plate appearances to get on base. It was 13 when it ended yesterday, and Corey Stewart, who does a great job, he runs the Stu Hog YouTube channel about Razorback baseball. He actually looked up. He said that it was the most consecutive plate appearances to reach base by a Razorback during the Van Horn era. There's really no way to see if it was a school record because, again, the school records just were real sporadic for a lot of years. But the previous record was 11 by Chase Leavitt in 2009. So it had been 17 years since we'd seen someone get on base at such a high level as he did, 13 times in a row. Man, there's like you can be really good. There's still some luck that gets into getting on base 13 times in a row. But he was taking a lot of walks, Bubba. And I think that's really the thing that stood out to me this weekend was his eye at the plate and his ability to fight off pitches. Even he struck out yesterday, but he fouled off like 4 or 5 pitches. Like that's what you want to see out of your leadoff guy is, have a good eye and then make that pitcher throw a lot of pitches, and he does a good job of that.
I want to say, what were we at, 11 when I texted you and said, what's the record?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So, that's what you need. You get your leadoff guy on base. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I want to say when you get the leadoff guy on last season, I want to say the scoring percentage was like 56% when the leadoff guy gets on. If the leadoff guy does not get on, that goes down to like 19%. Now, I'm not big into all the percentages and stats, but I mean, over the course of the season, that means something. I need to go back and double check that. I want to say it's 56, 57% of the time you get the leadoff guy on, he scored in last year's college Division I baseball last year. If that's wrong, I'll correct it next week. But there's a huge difference, and then it drops all the way down to the teens if you don't get that leadoff guy on. So just the value, and you can look back to Davelin last year. Davelin was huge, getting on base for us, to lead off a game, get on the scoreboard first. But I loved what Ruiz did all weekend. I loved his base running. You realize he went first to third on a one-hop line drive to the left fielder? I don't know that I've seen that. Now, there was nobody out. If he gets thrown out there, it's probably not good. But he made it, so it was a great move. We can talk about it.
Was it the TCU game or the Oklahoma State game? Remember I texted you. I said he was sliding into second as the catcher is releasing the ball. I've never seen that. I don't know if it was a slow release by the catcher. Maybe it was just a great break by Ruiz, but it was really jarring to see that in person, where he's getting into his slide as the ball is coming out of the catcher's hand.
Yeah, that was crazy. His jumps are amazing. So I'm a little bit psycho, so I sit there on the couch with my phone saying, okay, this guy's a 1-4-5 to the plate. He's got to steal here. He's going to steal. There's no way mathematically he can't get thrown out. I just think he's exciting on the bases. And then you look at the Tech game. He two-strike hit up the middle, and then Helfrich comes up with a really good piece of hitting two-strike line drive. He goes first to third on that, and that wasn't an easy first to third. It wasn't even close at third. So his ability to run the bases like that, and we talked about it last week, who's going to be the guy that's going to step up? And, I was talking about, a guy like a Pompey maybe, like a New – someone like that when the lights come on, they really shine. Well, it ended up being Damian Ruiz. I mean, he had a phenomenal weekend. And he made some really good routes in the outfield, too. They did show a couple of replays from up above, and you can see his first step is just spot on the balls. He made a good catch in left center. What was it in the last inning, the ninth inning of the Texas Tech game? Kind of a slice and line drive, and they were saying that he misjudged it and he overjudged. That ball just sliced. He did a great job of getting back there and adjusting. So saw a lot of good things from him.
Again, I'm standing field level at the 11th inning because I'm back down there trying to get ready for the –
After you jinxed us?
Yeah, after I jinxed. I actually had another one ready. So it was like reverse jinx, I guess, or something like that. I got to tell you, the blur of him going by down that third base line, because that's where I'm standing, that's where Tech's dugout was, of him going in and scoring, it was like, holy cow. It's something to see somebody's speed on TV.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different thing to, like, see it, live and, like, right there in front of you and basically feel the breeze as they're running past you. And, like, I mean, it's an elite level speed that he has.
Well, you can go off of how far he slid past home plate. Like, if you're like a big donkey lumbering home, you, like, slide and you stop on home plate. He, like, slid across home plate. I think he made it to the edge of the turf.
He did.
I mean, it was crazy. But the read was awesome. First of all, the left fielder needs to get out of the way. That's a center fielder's ball. He's got to get around and get behind it. But I think it looked like to me, looking at Bobby in the background, I think Bobby left it up to him. And the minute they collided, I knew he was going.
Yeah.
So there's no way the center fielder can gather himself. He had to, like, double clutch, take a hop, and so. But it was awesome. But yeah, he was flying.
Yeah, Ruiz told me, he said, I'm running right there.
What was he going to?
He said I was running regardless.
Even if they didn't collide, he was going.
Yeah, he said he said he saw him collide, and at that point he was sure. He said, but I was probably going right there anyway. The Tech people thought that he slid over the base and that he didn't touch it. And quite frankly, watching it from that viewpoint, I thought he might have missed the plate too. Now, when you go back and you watch the replay from up top, you can tell that he slides his hand across the base, and he would have been safe. But they're yelling at I think they had their pitcher back there backing up the catcher, and they're yelling at him, throw it to the plate, throw it to the plate. And so Ruiz kind of gets up, and and he goes over and he touches the plate, and they never threw it back over to the plate to try to challenge it. But yeah, it was an awesome play.
So did the umpire make a call when he slid?
Yeah, the umpires were walking off the field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were done.
Okay, so
they were done.
Yeah, he got it. He got the plate then.
So, by the way, I was standing right there talking about that viewpoint. I was standing right there. Basically, I was next to their room where they go in and they do their replay. And so I kind of had a first person. It was kind of neat watching like them go through their, because I'm watching over their shoulder basically as they're doing their replay review. I don't know. That was just kind of interesting to see that. Number one, I mean, you would think that the president was walking through the security. Get back, get back, get back. The umpires are coming.
Who goes there?
But
can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Can you go to Birmingham and sit in on that? Because some of the crap
That'd
that
be
comes out of
fascinating.
Birmingham in the SEC games is baffling to me.
Yeah.
My percentage of getting it right, I can watch the replay. I'm like, oh, they're going to overturn this, and then they don't.
Yeah.
And it's like obvious. So I don't know what's going on in Birmingham sometimes during the SEC replay.
Didn't they have and all the games are kind of running together for me. Wasn't there a replay Friday or Saturday night where it looked like they got it wrong?
Yeah, Pompey stealing second base. They said he slid past and his finger came off.
And they said
but
that his foot, yeah.
They weren't even looking at his foot. They kept, at least on the replay. Remember, I'm watching Flow Sports, which it's painful to watch at times. But they kept talking about his finger. But I'm like, well, forget about his hand, his foot. His foot's on the bag. And so at least that's what I thought. You know, I'm a little slightly biased, but I thought he was safe. I thought they missed it, and they you know, obviously I was wrong.
Yeah. No, I think you may have been right.
Thank you.
I think they may have been wrong.
I'm William Clark Green. Been chasing songs all over this great country for years now. It's been a blast, but the road will wear you out. Good food makes it better. Rudy's is the go-to for me and the crew. No frills, just real Texas barbecue done right. Brisket, ribs, cream corn, that famous sauce. It's like a little piece of home when you're nowhere near it. Don't get me started on those breakfast tacos. Served till 10 a.m., which is perfect if you're living on musician time. Find a Rudy's at rudys.com. Who knows, you might just bump into me in line.
We want to tell you Southern Loft believes that your home should reflect your unique personality. That's why they offer a wide variety of stylish furniture pieces that are perfect for any taste. Whether you're looking for a new sofa for the living room or a sleek dining table for your kitchen, they have just what you need. When you're looking for that piece of furniture that reflects you, visit Southern Loft, 3155 North College Avenue in Fayetteville, or call 479-856-6100. I wanted to go real quick, kind of just game by game. Oklahoma State, dominant performance. And you never know what you're going to get the first game of the year. Like, I think the first game of the year, really, to me, I was talking to R.D. Spees, who's the pitching coach at Tarleton State. He pitched for Dave Van Horn at Nebraska. They are the only team, when he was at Illinois State, he was their pitching coach, that's come into Baum and beaten Arkansas in a season opener. Remember they did that the year that Connor Noland had such a really good 22 season.
Yeah.
Connor had the balk on the new rule that year that nobody quite understood, and that was really the score that influenced that game. And, you know, we were talking about that game and, you know, how – but basically as I'm talking to him, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, it's really amazing when you think about that's the only game Arkansas has lost in like 30-something years in the season opener. And they played some good teams, you know, to start the season. Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma State this year. And so to come out and beat Oklahoma State the way they did, I thought that was really – I mean, it was just a great start to the season.
Well, I like the way it started out. I mean, look at Helfrich. First of all, Souza, great at bat, his best at bat of the weekend, slaps the ball down the left field line, and then, you know, Helfrich first pitch. I don't know if that was a changeup or a break ball.
I said it was a changeup in the stadium.
Is that what they said?
I think it was like 80,
something off
82.
speed, but, you know, don't know if he was sitting on it or not, but great swing, hammered it, and that just kind of, you know, set the table. I like his next at bat better where he fouled off multiple pitches.
He could not get that pitcher off of him.
That he was on everything. That guy had nothing, and as a pitcher, that's got to be demoralizing.
Yeah.
He threw some really good pitches. Helfrich was right on, fouled it off. You know, those are the type at bats, boy, you want to see out of a team. And then, you know, ultimately ended up in a 400-foot home run to center, which, you know, was incredible. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. But I thought we played a great game. I think, I really thought that the pitching was good. I don't know. I was just
What'd you think of Gackle?
thought Gackle was good. I think he made one mistake on an off-speed pitch. I don't know if that was a changeup or something. The lefty went down and got it and hit it out. But I thought Gackle looked good. His velo, it's hard to tell velo. I was trying to keep up with it on Baseball Savant. But I thought he looked good. I thought his changeup looked good. They were calling that a sinker at 88 to 90 miles an hour, but I would assume that was his changeup. But they kept calling it a sinker on the broadcast. But it had a lot of arm side run on it, late movement. So he was fooling the lefties on that a lot. I thought he looked good.
So they beat Oklahoma State 12-2. That was a weird one because I didn't know the run roll was in effect. And all of a sudden, Kozel hits that home. Or it's Micah New hits the home run, and it's like, okay, game's over.
Yeah.
Those are always the worst games.
Yeah.
When the run roll just kind of comes at you out of nowhere. There was one of those here in Baum, I don't know, last year maybe, where it's like it's a 3 or 4 run game going into the 7th or 8th inning, and next thing you know, there's like a 2-run home run and a grand slam, and okay, boys, let's go.
Yeah.
And well, those take you off.
Messes up your story, doesn't it?
Yes. Story's not ready at that point.
I thought that was a great swing by Micah. I mean, he let that ball get deep, and I know he's got power, but I didn't know he had that kind of pop right center gap, and then you see that, and I'm not going to bash on him, but you see a lot of guys pulling off of some pitches. We can talk about that in a little bit, but man, if I've got that kind of pop right center, I'm going to back contact up a little bit and play pepper with that scoreboard in right center when I'm at Baum Walker.
The two pitchers that I think people are most worried about right now, and again, it's one weekend and one performance, are Dietz, and we talked a little bit about the home plate zone for him, but then also Cooper Dossett, who he had the tough outing against Texas Tech that allowed them to get back into it. Both of those guys, and I wonder what you think about this. It'd been a long time since either of them had pitched. Dietz, he pitched a little bit last year, but it was what he pitched, like 1 inning against Tennessee. I don't even know if he got an out against Tennessee, and he got like 1 or 2 outs against LSU, but really, he hasn't pitched in a game very much in a long time. He threw more pitches on Saturday night than he'd thrown his entire career in 2 years. And then you've got Dossett, who is coming back from Tommy John. Texas A&M in 24 down in College Station was the last time that he had pitched. Do you think nerves might have been part of this? The fact that, they just they hadn't been out there on that stage very much.
I think so, Matt. So we talked last week about, as a hitter, sometimes an injury and you have to sit out and you watch from the sidelines can help you. It gives you the ability to slow the game down in your mind. And the game seems to slow down. Then you get in there and it's like, oh, this is easy. I think it's different for a pitcher. I think you go a couple years without really getting out there and getting any, like Dossett's worked his butt off. Think of all the countless hours he spent in the weight room waiting for that moment. And look, I'm a glass half full guy. First guy walks 4 straight pitches. Next guy he gets behind out. I think it might have been 1-0, I think, or it might have been 0-1. I can't remember. Guy hits a cutter to the right side, and it was just out of Kozel's reach. If that ball's 5 feet over, it's double play, and we're probably not talking about this right now. He probably gets the next guy out. But it might be a good thing that it happened, though, for multiple reasons. It gives Cooper a chance to work through what he's going through, and he really wasn't missing bad. He was missing up. He missed just off the plate a couple of times. Still saw really good stuff from him. His cutter looked really good. The thing about it is, though, it gave us a chance to rally back. It gave us a chance to not just use Cooper, to bring in Steele. Steele hits a guy, and then after that, he was really good. The 2-strike, the ball the guy hit, the 2-strike ball to left field that he hit to give them the go-ahead run was a backdoor slider, probably 3 or 4 inches off the plate, and the guy just hit. Oh, it was a great piece of hit, and I just tip your hat to the guy, but he executed the pitch perfectly. Guy slaps it out there, and then he was really good after that. So some good came out of it. I feel bad for Cooper. I can't wait. I know he can't wait till this weekend to get back out there. But, it gave us a chance to battle back, and give us a real good feeling of, hey, we battled back, we won that game. And I think wins like that, a little adversity led to a win, will help us later on in the season.
Well, and we're talking about Connor Noland in 22. That wasn't a great start he had against Illinois State. And I'm not saying that either of these pitchers are going to have these kind of seasons, or Hagan in 24 against James Madison. Remember how bad that went?
Oh,
like that first weekend, like you got to really take some of the stuff you see with a grain of salt, I feel like.
Well, in Hagen's defense, what was it, 20-something degrees with a north wind of like 20 miles an hour?
Yeah, a beautiful day in the Ozarks.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I don't know. And I already said it about Dietz. I thought he got squeezed a little bit. A strike here or there changes
How big
that
of a difference
outing.
does that make?
To some guys it doesn't. To some guys it does. If you're a guy that hadn't been out there much, I think it makes more of a difference. But, they really didn't hit anything hard off of him. They hit a ball down the line. It bounced off. Kind of, once again, it kind of kicked off the side. That's a tough read for a left fielder. I think there's pads there. You don't know if it's going to hug the line or kick out. But, that ball was hit okay. It wasn't crushed. And then the sinking line drive to left field that Damian almost caught. I mean, did they hit anything else hard off of him? I don't remember a lot of hard contact. But with that being said, you can't hit a guy. You can't walk a guy because then it just takes one hit to drive in a couple of runs, and that's what happened.
This whole how you practice versus how you play thing is interesting to me because you think about Damian Ruiz. He hasn't been great in the scrimmages, but then he gets into the game, and I thought he was their best player over the weekend, at least at the plate. On the flip side, Dossett and Dietz both were like they may have been their two best pitchers.
Yeah.
Gibbler would be in the conversation too, I think, maybe somebody else. But in the scrimmaging, like those were the names we kept hearing a lot about. Hey, you ought to see what Hunter Dietz is doing. You ought to see what Cooper Dossett's doing. And we saw it a couple of times, with both of them outside. How do you explain that? And like how much stock do you put into the first weekend relative to how they've scrimmaged, good or bad? Again, with Ruiz, it was one way, and with the pitchers, it was another.
No, I don't put any stock in it at all. As far as the pitchers go, I still feel the same about both of them. I think they're both going to be studs this year. I think Dietz, I can't wait to see him back out there on Saturday. I can't wait to see Cooper back out there. And then on Ruiz, I think he's just going to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, the speed kills. That's a huge weapon to have his type of speed and just to get him on base.
He got on base. So in the 13, there was actually a 14th time that he got on base, but it doesn't count because it was an error. But I think that probably some of that error might have been because of the speed and trying to rush a throw to first and get him out.
I think Dave referred to that, talking about the strikeouts, is this team is so fast. I mean, look at what we did against Oklahoma State. We rolled over a few. They brought in a sinker ball guy, and we topspun some balls to the left side that they had trouble with. They either bobbled them or, couldn't make the throw to first. This team's athletic and fast. If we put the ball in play, good things will happen.
That happened with Texas Tech, too. Helfrich put a ball in play, and it's a two-run error that really changed the feel of that game early on.
Yeah, you're right. Just as an infielder on the left side, if you've got a rush, I mean, it changes the way you do things. So, yeah.
I thought that third baseman from Texas Tech was actually a really good third baseman. He just made a bad play on that one. He made 3 or 4 other plays where you look back and you say that was really, really good. Hey, a reminder, we're sponsored by H&R Tire and Auto. They're a local shop that's been family-owned for 3 generations. They built their reputation on taking care of customers the right way, and that kind of longevity doesn't happen by accident. H&R Tire and Auto. The strikeouts for the hitters, 46 of them this weekend. Van Horn, mentioned after a couple of games, he said just too many times chasing outside the zone. He said yesterday, they're going to have to change their 2-strike approach, and if they don't, they're going to be hanging out with me for a while.
Yeah, I remember that quote. I want to say I wrote that down somewhere. Yeah, we did. We pulled off a lot of sliders away, and it looked like that's where they were trying to get us out away. It looks like every team was trying to get us out away, and we just kept swinging at that slider down and away, and I don't know if we weren't recognizing it. I don't know, and I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Matt Hobbs. It might have been DJ Baxendale before they left to go out of town. And I want to say, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even mention their name probably, but I want to say one of them said that it's hard to see the ball in that ballpark because of the grandness of it, and you don't see the ball as well as you think you would see it because I know the at-bats I got in big league ballparks, the ball looked huge. It was like slow motion. It looked like a beach ball coming at you. But they said there's something about that ballpark, and once again, I'm sorry if I'm misquoting them or saying it wrong, but I think that gives TCU an advantage because they get a lot of time in there. But maybe that's part of it. I don't know if that's it or
It
not.
does have a little bit of a back or a dark backdrop.
Yeah.
Back in those outfield seats, maybe a little bit more than some major league parks.
Well, it's a different view that these guys aren't used to seeing. Now, I hate excuses, but we did swing at a lot of bad pitches. I thought we swung at some bad pitches 0-0 and put the ball in play, weak contact. That's why I was just telling you, Jalen Beeks had a shirt he used to wear. I said, remember the 94? And I asked him about that one day, and he said that, 94% of the time, if you throw that first pitch over the plate, something bad's gonna happen to the hitter. So it's like 7% of the time do you actually get a hit or get on base. So the whole thing of that is trying to get ahead. And I thought we swung at some pitches we shouldn't have swung at 0-0, and we had some weak contact early in the count. My big thing, Matt, is I say it all the time with my younger hitters. The first 2 strikes are yours, third strike's for the team. So that first pitch, just because it's a strike, it doesn't mean it's your strike. And I know Nate and those guys. I know what they teach. They believe in the same thing. I mean, it's not rocket science. But I just think that we're in a major league ballparks. I think we got hitters early in the season, and they're in a big league ballpark, big crowd. Everyone wants to do something big. And I think they just try to do too much. You overswing a little bit, maybe try to do a little bit more than you normally would. I think a lot of that's going to go away. I hope it does.
Doesn't seem like we see this every year, and it's not just with the Razorbacks, because the teams they played struck out 51 times combined. Doesn't it seem like strikeouts are higher earlier in the season for whatever reason? Yeah,
pitchers are ahead of hitters early on. It's always like that. Even though this year we got a few extra at bats, I think hitters got a little bit more at bats this year. We started a little bit early. I think it's still pitching's ahead this time of year, so I'm not worried about it. Now, if we keep doing it, yeah. I think Dave said it. There will be adjustments made. Yeah. With 2 strikes, you back contact up a little bit. You shouldn't be dribbling balls and hooking balls into left field seats if you're a right-handed batter with 2 strikes. You got to back contact off and find a way to put the ball in play, especially if you're a dude that can run. It's when I'm working my hitters, for me, every hitter's different. You got your big donkeys that can't run out of sight in a day. They've got to drive the ball, But if you got your speed guys, man, with 2 strikes, find a way to put the ball in play. Figure it out.
I feel bad that we're this deep into the show and we haven't mentioned Tate McGuire's outing.
Yeah.
15 up and 15 down. And at that point in the ball game, they needed that. I think they had runners. TCU had runners at second and third when he got out of the jam in the 4th inning against, or was it 5th inning? One or the other. And he pitched really well, and he's one of those that we've heard his name, and I think sometimes this can happen when you hear somebody is really doing well, and you think back, but this is their track record, and with McGuire, his track record has been that he's mostly a midweek guy, and so you wonder, my gosh, he did that to a TCU lineup that's a pretty good team there. I think that sets the expectations pretty high for him moving forward, that he could be really reliable for this team, maybe in that role where he comes out in a long relief type situation, or maybe, at some point in time he's pitching well enough, and who knows what's going on in the starting rotation, and maybe that's the guy that you elevate to that spot.
Yeah. Well, I talked about the demeanor and of Kozel, how calm he was. He came out of the bullpen. Tate did, and he got on the mound. There was either runners at first and second, nobody out, or first and third, nobody out.
I think it was first and third, and I think somebody moved to second on some maybe a ground ball, but the guy at third couldn't come home.
Yeah, there was something. But anyway, it was nobody out, 2 runners on base, and he just looked as calm as he could be. He's like, "Give me the ball, I got this." Yeah. Now he did get lucky. He got a line out to Kozel. The first out was hit hard right at Kozel. But yeah, he looked good. He just pitched. He changed speeds. Got him to chase fastballs up. soft contact, I love just watching him go to work. That's fun to me. And you try to say, okay, what's he going to do right here, and try to play along with Helfrich and him and see how they're going to attack the hitters. And, it's the same when Colin Fisher's out there. Guys like that are really pitchers. It's so much fun to watch them go to work.
So I sent you that screenshot from the Baseball Savant page as we were watching that game on Sunday. And the Texas Tech starter, I forget his name, but, it's all of the top velocities belong to him. Like several. But then you look right to the right of that, and it's swing and miss pitches, and Colin Fisher has like 3 times the amount of swing. Like and I told you, I said, like, that's the difference between pitching and throwing.
Yep, absolutely.
And Fisher can really pitch.
Yeah. And he's just got so many different weapons he can get you out with. And it's just frustrating. It's so frustrating. I still view it, even though it's been a long time since I've been in the batter's box, I view all of our pitchers as if I'm in the box. And to me, that would be a frustrating at bat facing Colin Fisher.
Why?
So many weapons he can get you out with. He's got, it looks like to me he's throwing 2 or 3 different breaking balls. They all look like they do something different. He's got a cutter, he's got a fastball, he's got a good change. I don't know, he doesn't throw lefty change, I don't think a whole lot. Maybe he does, but I don't remember him throwing it a whole lot. But he's just got so many weapons, and it's just, it's one of those frustrating at bats where you go back to the dugout scratching your head, and then next at bat, you're like, okay, he got me out on this pitch. I'm gonna be ready, and then he gets you out on something else. It's what you call a comfortable 0 for 4.
I thought he was really good. I thought he probably had the best starting performance of the entire weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know which one of those lineups is the best. Texas Tech, they didn't really do a whole lot when they were down there in Arlington, but I was really impressed with how he pitched. And then you look at yesterday, a lot of people didn't see this because the game wasn't streamed, which I wonder why it wasn't streamed, by the way. You realize OU and New Mexico State, they played there last night, and it was streamed on SEC Network Plus. And what they did was they took OU was the one who arranged this. They took the cameras from the ballpark and put their radio audio over the top of the cameras, and they streamed it on SEC Network Plus. I don't know why that wasn't possible with the Razorbacks playing Tarleton State, but that's a whole different conversation to have. Peyton Lee pitched well. He got out of a lot of jams. There were 3 instances where runners were in scoring position against him and didn't score, including 2 times at third base. And then the 1 inning where they got him. And I'll say this too, there was a triple where Arkansas actually, Turner dove for it, and Turner got hurt on this play. Now, he was able to stay in the game. I think maybe it just took his breath away. He landed real hard whenever he dove after this ball. But they actually ran a really good relay to third base, and Pompey just couldn't hang on to the ball. And so that ends up having the runner at third. Then they hit a double down the line after a couple 3 minutes of them looking at Christian Turner in the outfield, and that's 3-1. Lee comes out. McIlvain comes in. And, McIlvain, Matt Hobbs told me in this magazine, in the preseason magazine, it was one of the really good quotes that he gave me. He said he's a polarizing pitcher. Remember we talked about this last week, polarizing? Because basically you don't know what you're going to get from him. You look at his numbers last year at Vanderbilt, 7.24 ERA. His whip was like well over 2. I think like maybe 2.2 something. like a whip that would make you blush. He didn't have a good year last year at Vanderbilt. So again, and in the scrimmages, sometimes you see really good from him. Sometimes you see that erratic, where it's just outside the zone. And he was really good yesterday. He was really working well, and 4-seam fastball, cutter, those were mostly the 2 pitches. He was throwing fastball almost exclusively. Like maybe for every 10 pitches, he might drop in 1 or 2 off-speed pitch. And so, but he was locating that fastball, and he was getting some swings and misses. He was getting it called strike. I thought that was a really, really promising outing for Arkansas because, again, this is a left-hander who can throw 97, 98 and has some good secondary pitches that he can keep you off the fastball with. I thought that performance was as promising as anything that you saw this weekend. based on what that might lead to down the road if he can continue to pitch that way.
Right. Well, yeah, I do remember our polarizing conversation because I was trying to figure out, is that a compliment or is that, is that
Just a comment.
What is that? But the guy that was filling in for Phil on the radio, I listened to it, and he was really impressed. McIlvain, really, but he, I couldn't tell what pitches were what. Then you texted me about the way he was changing speeds. On his four seam, and then I thought,
Yeah, so in the stadium, the Hawkeye system that they were using to recognize the pitches instantly, it kept calling everything a four seam fastball. I'm like, my God, man, this guy's got like a variance of like 89 to 97 on his four seam fastball. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And then I got down to the field, and I was talking to a couple of people on the field. They're like, no, anything under 93 is probably a cutter, and so it was really a cutter four seam fastball. I wonder if Hawkeye was having that much trouble picking up his pitch, or the hitters having trouble with it too.
Probably so. Yeah, when you sent me that text, I'm like, well, I don't know anyone that changes speeds on their four-seam fastball like that. But you never know. You don't know what's going on. But yeah, the fact that he's mixing in that fastball cutter, that's a great combination for a lefty. And so huge weapon for us. Yeah. And I like what Dave said. You could have brought him in earlier and on Friday had the situation of been there. So I think it's good to have a weapon like that in the pen. Hopefully he'll continue that this weekend because that could be huge for us down the road.
What I noticed with McIlvain was that he liked to use that fastball early in the count, strike one, strike two, and he really likes that cutter to go for strike three.
Yeah, a lefty that throws hard like that with a good cutter. Those are fun guys to have in the back end of the bullpen.
And those freshmen who pitched yesterday, Lee and Mark Brissy, I mean, both of them look really good too.
I love Peyton Lee from the last scrimmage I saw him pitch. And, I hated, a couple of 0-2 mistakes. You try not to hit a guy with 0-2 counts. And I don't know what the pitches were he hit them with. They didn't say on the radio, but, I think he hit two different guys when he had them down 0-2, which, you don't want to do that. But, I'm sure, it happens.
But he worked around it.
Yeah. And
what
then,
did Van Horn say? He said, it was like a I'm going to get out of this type mentality that he had.
Yeah. And Dave also referred to him shaking his head,
Didn't like that.
And he didn't like that.
Yeah.
He said whether it's good or bad. And I freaking love that. I teach my guys there's no negative body language on a baseball field. If you got to go pout, go behind the dugout and do it. Or if you've got to shake your head and question something. Now, I don't know why he was shaking his head, but I love that's why I absolutely love DVH is he sees stuff like that and they address it. And so yeah, I think it's awesome. But and then the Brissy to come in and I love Brissy. I don't think he pitches like a freshman. For him to come in and close it out for 2 innings was really good also. I mean, we still got guys we didn't see. Joey Lorenzini. I still look forward to seeing him out there, so I'm sure we'll get to see him this weekend. But yeah, I thought it was a good weekend. I like the fact now. I think you asked Dave this question about playing 4 games down there. I think it's awesome because everyone gets a chance to play. Almost everybody.
He said that. So I talked to him back in the fall about it too, when they had actually first announced this. So the question in the fall was, hey, you're playing 4 games in 4 days for the first time. What goes into that? And then the question yesterday was, okay, now you've done this. What did you think about the experience? And the answer in the fall I thought was kind of interesting because I went back and listened to this yesterday. He said that a lot of times they will leave the ballpark there, and you got 3 or 4 pitchers who didn't get to throw in that ballpark, and they're a little mad about it. Yeah. That they didn't get to throw in the ballpark. I mean, that's a big deal to them to be able to go out there and get on the mound in that ballpark. And then the other part of that equation is think about the number of times where, and this is how it is when you play down there on Sunday night. When I drove back yesterday after a 2:00 game, it's like 11:50 when I pulled in my garage last night. So the players, again, they're pulling into Fayetteville. I think they were right behind us last night. They're probably pulling into Fayetteville about midnight. You get your bags and you go home. So it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. You got school on Monday. And then you come out to play Grambling State right after you played, Big 12 teams. Yeah. And how many times have we seen on that Tuesday where they didn't look like they were ready to play Grambling State? And so, and sometimes they're playing them out there and the weather's not real good. And so I think what they like about this, and I think they're going to continue to do this in the future. I think they're looking for a fourth opponent to play down there when they go next year. It's kind of threefold. Number one, you get more players onto the field in the big league ballpark. Number two, you don't have to worry about the weather. You know you're going to get the games in as long as you can get to Dallas because you've got the roof on the stadium. And then number three, you don't have that weird turnaround. You can just continue to you can go Sunday to Monday as opposed to having that travel and then turning around and playing a team on Tuesday. I think that all of those you would put in the positive ledger as you're going through the pros and cons of playing 4 games in Arlington.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully they'll continue. Hopefully they can find someone to play next year.
I don't think they're going to have any problem. They continue.
so.
So the group that runs that down there called REV Entertainment. I don't know what REV stands for. I think it's Rangers something. But like they're the ones who like their whole job is to put events in that ballpark when the Rangers are not playing.
Right.
So the Rangers are there 81 times a year. So what happens the other 200 and whatever days? And they've done a good job, and they continue to grow it every year of having college games there. And I don't think there's any. I mean, think about all the teams that are in Texas, or Oklahoma, or even Louisiana, or New Mexico State even yesterday, where it's maybe not a short bus ride there, but it's not a terribly long bus ride over either. And they want to come in there, they want to get their games in there, and they want to play in a big league ballpark, just like everybody else. I think that there's a lot of interest in teams wanting to go there and play.
I think so. I mean, everyone wants to play in a major league ballpark. I mean, who wouldn't want to go there and play, even if it's on a Monday? I mean, shoot, yeah, I'd do it.
I'm glad we're through this. This has been an exhausting last 4 or 5 days. I went to just a little behind the scenes here real quick. I left here and went to Kansas City Thursday morning for the College Baseball Hall of Fame. And that is such a cool event, by the way. Like if any of your old teammates ever go in, make sure to go up there and go to it. I mean, you walk in the door and there's like freaking Mark McGuire standing right there. It's like, whoa,
yeah,
that's cool. But like there were so many great players who were there. David Price was there, and great coaches and whatnot. Steven Strasburg got inducted. Phil Nevin got inducted. Like a lot of great players went in. And so that was fun. Then I got up in Kansas City at like 4:20 Friday morning to drive back to Fayetteville, pick up my family, drive to Dallas, cover the game. I think I got done covering the game at like 1:30. It'd been a 21-hour day. That was long. And then it's a long night Saturday. You got Sunday. That went longer than you thought. But it was fun. But I am so glad to be home. I don't do well being outside my bed for too long.
Well, you look good.
You
You bounced back good.
Yeah.
But I thought
I'm ready to go sleep right now.
I was glad they honored Coach D out on the field.
They did, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Hey, what was really cool too was up in Kansas City, the number of former players who went up there to be there whenever he got inducted. And here's what was really cool. There was a player from his first team, Fred Wong. I can't remember how you say his last name. He played on his first team, though, 1970. And then Clay Goodwin was there, who's the director of ops for the baseball team now. He played on Norm's last team in 2002. And then you had probably about somewhere 15, 20 players that played there in the middle and were there. And
That's
so that
awesome.
was really cool. I talked to Van Horn when they were in Kansas City. Is this a big deal that you're missing a practice for your team down in Arlington tonight to come to this? He said, I would miss a game if they would let me, honestly, to be here for Norm. He said, I think that this is such a big deal for him.
See, that's awesome. Don't you love hearing stuff like that?
It was really
I mean, that's really cool. I think the whole thing. I wish I could have gone. I heard them calling the Hogs when they announced Norm's name, and I'm glad he had a lot of support there. So I mean, it's just cool. But I'm glad they recognized him at Globe Life Field in front of 22,000 fans.
Big ovation when he came out on the field.
When I saw the replay of that, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
But Coach DeBryan, like he doesn't like all the attention. I think he's probably glad that this is all
I'm
behind
sure
him.
you're glad it's over. I'm sure he is too. He doesn't like all that, but man, he's just a class act.
Yeah.
Love him.
That's really cool. All right, want to tell you one more time that we're brought to you by H&R Tire and Auto, proudly family-owned since 1976, trusted across Northwest Arkansas, committed to keeping you safe on the road all season long. Learn more or schedule service at hnrtireandauto.com. Bubba, appreciate you being here. Bubba's going to be back in studio Thursday. We'll look ahead to Arkansas playing Xavier. Just little seed right here. Xavier, look at the teams they're playing in the non-conference. I think this team thinks they're really good, and they just went to East Carolina and won 2 of 3.
Yeah.
This is one of those series where I think it could be kind of sneaky good.
Yeah, I agree.
This weekend in Fayetteville. We'll talk about that Thursday. Hope to see you at our website, wholehogsports.com. We're back here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.